Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're setting up a genuinely fascinating experiment. We're going to test out the exact eating style of one of the fittest, most highly conditioned athletes walking the planet right now, Cristiano Ronaldo. We're literally taking a microscope to his famously strict daily regimen and breaking the whole thing down, meal by meal, hour by hour. So get ready, because we are bringing some serious energy to this breakdown to match the sheer intensity of the man himself.
So here's the big question I really want you to ask yourself right now. What actually happens to your body if you eat like this elite athlete for just 24 hours? If you completely adopt his extreme nutritional habits for one single day, what's the immediate physical outcome? Do you instantly become faster and leaner? Or do you just end up feeling completely exhausted and totally depleted? We're putting you right at the center of this experiment to see exactly how your body would react. Section 1. The 24-hour elite experiment, a physiological deep dive. Section 2. The clean fuel blueprint. Okay, let's dive into this meticulously planned structure. We're looking at exactly how a perfectly calibrated intake of high protein and impeccably clean carbohydrates affects human biology from dawn to dusk. Every single calorie here has a job to do. You kick things off with eggs, whole grains, and fruit, which is just a perfect mix of slow-releasing complex carbs and amino acids. A few hours later, a snack of nuts and yogurt bridges the gap. Lunch is super lean. Grilled chicken, rice, and vegetables, all specifically timed for muscle repair. Then, right before you train, you get a highly targeted pre-workout fuel of just a banana and some protein for immediate, accessible glycogen. Finally, you wind down with a light dinner of fish, salad, and olive oil for overnight recovery. And weaving through this entire timeline, uninterrupted water intake to make sure those nutrients are constantly being delivered.
But honestly, perhaps even more important than what's on the timeline is what's completely absent. Zero. That is the exact amount of sugary drinks allowed. Zero fried food. Zero processed snacks. Just a massive, absolute zero. When we say clean fuel, we mean a total elimination of the everyday indulgences that most modern diets are pretty much built around. Moving on to Section 3, morning to midday. Let's look at those initial physiological shifts. By the time you hit midday, you're going to experience your first major shift. On a normal diet, your morning is usually defined by sugar spikes, those inevitable mid-morning crashes, and, that creeping brain fog. But here, your body feels remarkably lighter. Because you've consumed clean protein and complex carbs, your blood glucose stays incredibly flat. That heavy fiber content naturally slows down your digestion, meaning your body is processing fuel at this steady, machine-like pace, which completely eliminates the urge to constantly snack. That sluggishness you usually get after, say, a greasy plate of bacon or heavy pastries, it's just totally gone. And this brilliantly illustrates that the most profound shift you feel by the afternoon isn't actually in your muscles. It's right there in your brain. Mental clarity. Without that roller coaster of sugar crashes, your cognitive function absolutely peaks. The brain-gut connection is undeniable here. Your body stops wasting energy chasing cravings and simply functions at peak efficiency. This is exactly why elite athletes prioritize absolute biological consistency over the momentary pleasure of taste. Section 4. The workout effect. It is time to put this clean fuel to the test. When you finally step into the gym, that's where the rubber meets the road. Normally, a lot of people rely on an instant sugar boost, maybe a sweet energy drink or some processed bar just to get going. But that inevitably leads to severe mid-workout fatigue once that spike drops off. But with this highly structured diet, you don't get that jittery rush. Instead, because your muscle glycogen stores have been steadily and systematically filled all day long, you get perfectly stable energy and noticeably better endurance. This cellular ATP just keeps firing. The tank simply doesn't empty out as fast. Section 5, the mental challenge. Let's talk about extreme discipline. Now, I want to be entirely real with you here. We have to talk about the hardest hurdle of this whole experiment, and it's a pretty powerful realization. When you strip away all the fast food, all the sweets, and all those usual avenues for emotional eating, you are left with extreme discipline. You suddenly see your own dietary crutches. Eating this way forces you to confront the fact that, for a lot of us, food is largely a source of comfort rather than just a source of fuel. Giving up that comfort for a full 24 hours? Yeah, that requires immense mental toughness. Section 6, the final 24-hour result. Let's see where we stand.
Let's tick through exactly what changes when you cross that 24-hour finish line. First up, your energy is completely stable. Second, your cravings for junk are drastically reduced. Third, because of that constant water intake, your cellular hydration is vastly improved, which leads right into our fourth point, significantly increased focus. But the reality check is that your overall enjoyment and variety feel pretty limited. So the crucial point is this. This 24-hour plan is definitely not some magic weight loss trick. Do not look at it that way. Instead, view it as an incredibly powerful, immediate biological reset for your body.
Listen, following this exact blueprint for a single day is not going to magically transform your physique overnight. But what it definitively does do is show you exactly what clean fueling actually feels like. It pulls back the curtain so you can experience that stable, machine-like efficiency of proper nutrition firsthand. And that is the true secret here. Consistency. This is exactly how elite athletes maintain their sharp competitive edge, not just for a day, but for years on end. Which brings us to the ultimate challenge. Now that you've seen the science, the strict timeline, the immense physiological benefits, and of course the heavy mental toll, can you handle eating like an elite athlete even if it's just for one single day? Think about it. If you can, your body and your brain will absolutely thank you for the reset. And if you find that you can't, well, now you know exactly what habits you might need to change. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it sparks some curiosity about the incredible machine that is your body.